on Tuesday. All right. I do have a question now that Kelce's gone. And it looks like Brandon Graham, or maybe not Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, probably Brandon Graham would like to come back. But you're looking at three of the biggest leaders on your football team. Who is now the official leader of the Fighting Philadelphia Siriannis? Kelce and most likely Fletcher. Who is now going to be the leader of the Philadelphia Fighting Siriannis, known as your Eagles? Hurts? No way. Jalen Hurts, no leader. Fletcher Cox said so. Who's going to be your leader? Mr. Bipolar? A.J. Owens? A.J. Owens is the now leader of the Philadelphia Fighting Siriannis. Really? A.J. Owens, the Fighting Philadelphia Siriannis. That's what we got going on now. Mr. Bipolar. This guy sing me a tune on a Tuesday and sing me a different one on a Thursday. Holy cow. Tell me, man, what's up? Who do you love? Who do you not love? A.J. Owens, Mr. Bipolar, is now the leader of the Fighting Siriannis. Oh, come on now, man. That can't be. Fighting Siriannis. Here's the point. Is there a leader on your team now? You think it's Hurts. You think it's Hurts and the Bipolar AJ. Okay. Boy, that sounds like a little bit of a cliff dive from Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce, doesn't it? You don't think that's a little bit of a drop-off between those two guys? And then you got the guy, Mr. Exclusive, King Hurts. Cam Jurgens sucks. I wouldn't want to be that guy. I sure hope he knows how to tush push, because if he don't, that place is in the NFL Films Archive now. Yes, sir, baby. Yeah, Mr. Bipolar is now the leader. Come on, man. Do you have a leader on your football team? Lane Johnson is a leader? I never really looked at him as a leader. I looked at him as a great player. Guy whose leadership was questioned this year, Jalen Hurts. Okay, so questionable leadership at the quarterback. And your bipolar receiver is what you want. So you got Hurts and A.J. Brown. Those are your leaders. Lane's a leader? Hey, is Lane vocal? That's right, senor. Between Nick Sirianni and no leadership, you better have Big Dom part of the coaching staff, not just part of the security staff. He's got to be, dude, you're going into your camps and into free agency leaderless. Someone's going to have to take the reins. I can't wait to see who it is. I pray to God it's not A.J. Brown, because that's the worst type of leader. Guy opens his mouth, says nothing, makes it about him. And Slay's not your leader. Hey, I played good. You get some real big winners on this thing here. Who develops into the guy who's going to be the guy they go to? The Fighting Philadelphia Siriannis. And then you're going to turn to Mr. Bipolar. Yeah, I hate the media. You call up a radio show and you do a sit down and you have a fireside chat with the afternoon host of WIP. Okay. Seriously, man. I thought you were going to break breadsticks out. Little wine, little caviar. What you saw today with Kelce embodied leadership. It did. It embodied it. Congratulations on a great career. Now the question is the collateral damage of his retirement. So Cam Jurgens goes over to center. How many people believe that that's going to be a seamless transition? How many people will think that that's a seamless transition from Jason Kelce to Cam Jurgens? And guys like Bill think this is the best move because it's cheaper. So now you have Cam Jurgens and Tyler Steen as your center and right guard on an offense that struggled in blitzing, pass protection, and running the ball late in the game and late in the season. So now you've taken two dudes out of the five and the best player out of center because you wanted to get cheaper to some. So you're cheaper at center, which also means you're less talented. That's not Sayamalo and Kelce. It's Tyler Steen and Cam Jurgens at center and guard. Ernest goes, Dickerson can play center. Why in the world would Landon Dickerson move from left guard to center when he's right now getting ready to cash in a payday of $20 million as a left guard? Why would he do that? And why would his agent do that? And why would he go to a center position that pays less money than left guard? So you want me to leave a position that pays more than the center position in general? Why? Because you want me to? I'm not doing it. Not doing it. That's a $10 million pay cut. Go from a 6-time first-team All-Pro to a third-year starter. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be smooth. Okay? Yeah, center positions don't pay a lot of money. Kelce's the highest paid center in the league at 10. Guards get paid $21 million. Why would Landon Dickerson go, hey, I'll do it for $10 million less when he's one of the top 5 guards in the game? And when Zach Martin retires, he'll be one of the top 3 left guards in the game. Why would he do it? What, because he, doesn't want to make money? I don't believe that transition will be seamless. It'll be bumpy. You don't have the tush push anymore. That's out. Until further notice, and we see it, it's out because Kelce's it. It ain't Hurts. It's him. We'll see how that works. And by the way, I'll make a prediction. It won't work. It's over. And if it does work, what I'll do here, I'll go like this. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Why do centers make less than guards? That I do not know because I think center position is more valuable than guard and guard position. Okay? I think Cam's okay. He ain't Jason Kelce, and he's not the athlete Jason Kelce is. Didn't we draft Cam to take over for center? Hey, Joseph. Yeah, and? That doesn't mean because you draft a safety you're going to have somebody take over for Brian Dawkins. Hey, we drafted a safety to take over for Dawkins. How's that worked out? We are fine with Cam at center. Less experience, of course, but fine. Give the kid a chance. He was pretty good in college. He's pretty good in college. Okay. Well, right there in a nutshell, you're talking potential. Once again, you're saying he's got great potential, which means he hasn't done it. Okay. That's what that means, Marshall. You're right. To expect him to be Jason Kelce, though, is a joke. Next man up doesn't work that way. Next man up. Well, you mean like your safeties on your team, your linebackers that you couldn't replace from a year ago? Next guy up. What happened there? Next guy up. That's college, where you have five deep, 5-star players. You don't have that in the NFL. You don't have that. Hey, Jeff Stoutland, it's a good point, A-Track. It's a good point because this is where Jeff Stoutland earns his money here. If Jeff Stoutland doesn't have a massive drop-off at the center position, and they do a good job in blitz pickup and all this other stuff, and it's not that horrible of a drop-off, that's when you give that guy a raise and a lifetime contract. And you go, you ain't going anywhere. Dude, you can have like a Supreme Court contract where you die in office because I don't want you going anywhere. Remember what Jimmy Johnson said on this program? The most valued coaches as an assistant coach anywhere is your O-line coach. So who do you think there's some good name? We'll look at that as a matter of fact, I've got some interior linemen. I don't believe they would draft a center in the first round. Okay? Hopefully Philly is good with centers like that. Green Bay is with quarterbacks. You had Remington. You've had Kelce for a long time. You've had some pretty good Jim Ringo, Bednarik. Of course, going both ways. So you've had a history of having really good players at that position, yeah, in your franchise over the decades. Haley, all them guys, all good ball players, exceptional ball players. Kelce suggested Cam. He did. I like Linderbaum more, but not by a lot. Linderbaum was at, I believe, Iowa. And Cam was at Nebraska. I believe that, if you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Linderbaum was an Iowa guy, but had a couple more knee injuries at Iowa. And I didn't think it was that big a difference. And now he has experience in the league playing next to a Hall of Fame Sever. Give him a chance. Marshall. I think this goes back to what Xander says when it's the way I talk. Give him a chance. He's got the chance. But in that league, no one gives you the benefit of the doubt. You're giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not. This is not a league of giving anything the benefit of the doubt. You go in, you play, and if you succeed, you stay. If you don't, you're out. Nobody gets the benefit of the doubt in the NFL. The benefit of the doubt is getting the chance. That's it. That's it. Like, the problem what the Eagles had with Nakobe Dean was they gave Nakobe Dean the benefit of the doubt. And it failed because they went that route. Did they not give Nakobe Dean the benefit of the doubt? And again, They gave him the benefit of the doubt, and he sucks. You can't give anybody the benefit. You got to prove it. Okay? Got to prove it. How he used benefit of the doubt with Nakobe. You can't do that with players. Shows you who has the power in the building when it comes to the personnel decisions. LJ's right. That's not benefit of the doubt. I drafted you. I'm playing you. That's the benefit of the doubt. Absolutely. What are you talking about? Go play. I drafted you. I'm not going to go like I did with Nakobe Dean. Oh, this guy will be okay. He'll take the shoes of Jason Kelce. Who talks like that when you haven't seen him play yet? Go play, kid. You're asking for a prediction. You're asking for predictions. I'm not having a prediction on Cam Jurgens replacing Jason Kelce. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for. Okay? Predictions? Let's see what we got here. Okay, it's all good. No benefit of the doubt. Dean will have every opportunity to earn a spot in training camp. It's on him. Yes. Dean was in a different situation, proven to be a failure. Then why'd you start him and give him the green dot? That's benefit of the doubt. That's responsibilities he wasn't able to handle yet. Let's see if he can stay healthy. They put all those things on him with the benefit of the doubt that he was going to take the seamless transition from TJ, and it failed. You better not do that at center. You better not do that like you did at center. Okay? Cody says, my bigger concern I have, Seals, is our offensive play calling that can help the line. Hey, by the way, that's now on Jalen setting the line protection. So Cam Jurgens is going to set the line protection now. So now you're asking Cam Jurgens to take over all the responsibilities that Jason Kelce has. I want to see that. Dean was thrown in without leadership of a pro to guide him. That's the difference. The linebacker core was Barrett failed. Okay, how about this then, Big? So Howie Roseman put Nakobe Dean in a situation where he was not set up for success because he gave him the benefit of the doubt, and not having professionals around him, he threw him in the fire anyway. What kind of reasoning is that then to trust a guy like that in an NFL draft when you don't know how to prepare your young, talented defensive players? Failure. Howie. What do you think about the center from Oregon? That Johnson kid? Khalid, you're talking about the Johnson kid? Jackson Powers Johnson, is that who you're talking about? Is that the kid you're talking? Him? Okay. We're going to get into that here in a second now. We're going to talk a little bit about the combines. And I wrote down my top 5 Big Sills prospects that, for me, I thought did a great job at the combines. And I love watching the combines. My wife and I watched them, believe it or not. And we sat there and watched 5 of the best prospects at every position. And I wrote them down here. And these were the guys that I came away with. By the way, you know that kid that ran that 4.22? that wide receiver from Texas, he's Quasi Watkins with Quasi Watkins' metrics. He doesn't have great hands. He doesn't run great routes. And he's 167. He's a shrimp. He's 167 pounds. And he ran a 4.22. Well, shit, dude. You better run a 4.22. Nobody in the NFL is 100. Kickers aren't 166. I mean, he's a small guy. 166-pound wide receiver in today's NFL. I get he's a 4.22 guy. Come on, man. 160 pounds? Xander's got him by 20. Hey, Sills, do you think that the soft training camp that the Eagles run makes it harder to properly evaluate? It's a great take. Relative. It's an absolutely spectacular take. Absolutely true. And I would say this too, relative. The fact that they don't utilize the exhibition games also probably hurts them. Okay? Probably too. Devontae Smith, what? He's not even your number one wideout. It's your bipolar wide receiver that's your captain now. Captain Bipolar. I like the McConkey kid. I like him. Christian McCaffrey's brother. Okay, let me get to some of the players and how I rank them. And we believe it or not, my wife and I love watching it. I know. We should get more things to do. Sills, the problem also was who's the future leaders on defense? Well, you don't have any. You can't have a guy that sits in the line all day long being a leader. And when he sits in the line at White Castle all day and you don't know where to find him, he's sitting 4 cars deep at White Castle. And that's your leader on defense? I don't think so. Jalen Carter will find out. Maybe he evolves into that. You have nobody else because everybody's a rent-a-guy. They're a mercenary. And like I said, once you get Jordan Davis, 5th car out of the drive-up line at White Castle, maybe he develops into a leader. I don't know. Okay? Maybe Josh Sweat. I guess. I don't know. Sales Baldy from the NFL Network thinks Khalid Williams is the best prospect since Burrow. I'm not buying it. Kid from Texas reminds me of John Ross, massive bust. Let me take a look at some of these players now that we saw in the draft that the Eagles can take a look at here. We'll talk more about Kelce. By the way, Mark Farsetto's going to join us. That'll be at 3:30. We're going to have Craig Carton at 4:30, and we're going to have Merrill Reese at 5:30 today. And you guys now, obviously, talking a lot of Kelce today as he announces his retirement after a brilliant career with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I wrote these guys down, and I had a chance. I saw Alonzo Highsmith there. I talked to him, to Alfredo. I talked to Carl Dunbar, who was running the defensive line drills. I talked to a bunch of guys who saw a lot of really good, talented people. There were a lot of good-looking, talented guys that were at this draft. And as I said, you're going to get a good wide receiver, maybe in the 2nd or 3rd round, and you're going to get a hell of an offensive lineman in the first 2 rounds. I think the Eagles are going to draft an offensive lineman in the 1st round, and I would be shocked if it's something else. I would be shocked. I think they're going to try to get an athlete, somebody, offensive guard, tackle, somebody that could be a swing player that they can make a transition. And now that Kelce's retired, there's no question. I think that position goes. And you know what? It's what they do great. So I think it's the smartest thing they could possibly do is draft an O-lineman at 22. And if it's not an O-lineman at 22, maybe move out of it because this draft is deep. And with the problem that you have is the quarterbacks are going to drive these O-linemen down. And you may be able to get a really good one in the 2nd round. I mean, a guy who could play for you for a long time. Let's start with the offense. I didn't go 5 deep on all of them because I don't think there's 5 guys. I don't like Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy. Um, I don't, and I really don't like Michael Penix. I really don't like those 3 quarterbacks in the draft. Will they go in the first round? Probably. But I'm not very high on them. I watched them work out. Why would I draft a guy that Michigan ran the ball over 500 times last year? Do I really think that that guy is a pro-style quarterback just because Jim Harbaugh tells you? Jim Harbaugh has never developed a quarterback at Michigan in his entire time there in Ann Arbor. Not one guy who was worth a shit in the NFL, nor did he recruit anybody that was worth a shit. His greatest guy that he had was Andrew Luck at Stanford. He had nobody at Michigan. And I'm to believe J.J. McCarthy's the guy? Come on, man. I don't see it. I think Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in this draft. Played against the toughest opponents, the best talent, the best teams, had some of the best wide receivers in the NFL on his team, respectively. I think this guy throws the ball. And if I'm not mistaken, hook me up and help me, am I right? He's an Arizona State transfer. He played for Herm Edwards. So an NFL coach did recruit him, right? I believe that he was Arizona State Wildcat. I think this kid here, in my opinion, is more capable and bigger and better. He's a bigger kid. Caleb Williams is small. Okay? He's small. So I got Caleb Williams too. Reluctantly, I would never draft him. And I got Drake May. I think those are the 3 guys. And quite frankly, 2 and 3, I'm not high on. The best player at the quarterback position, in my opinion, that I saw at the combines, and then with his tape and his game and who he plays against, where he plays, is Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels actually elevated his game from the Pac-12 to the SEC. I thought he was better in the SEC, which is incredible. I got him. The running back position, I think you're going to get a guy here if you guys want to draft a guy in rounds 4 or 5. And some of these guys that came out of this draft that you might be able to get, and I put a number by him, like the best back in the draft is ranked 70th, and he's from Oregon, that Bucky Irving kid. 70 is, you're talking about 3rd round. So could you get a guy in the 3rd round that could come in and play and be a factor and help your football team? Sure. I think the kid Benson from Florida State is the best running back in the collection of guys that were at the combines. I thought Jalen Wright from Tennessee showed some really good speed, great hands. His tape is great too. Played a really good brand of football at Tennessee. I didn't really think Jonathan Brooks played that well in the Senior Bowl. I thought he was really good during the regular season. I didn't think he had a great combine. That's not a death knell, but I thought he would give me a little more, and I was looking forward to watching him. He didn't overwhelm me. That Marshall Lloyd surprised me from USC. He surprised me. I would take him in the 5th round. Like, I would throw something at him around the 5th round. He's around the 150th or 60th ranked player. I'd put a 5th rounder, 4th rounder. He's a good looking player. The wide receiver position's insane. I got Marvin Harrison Jr. number 1. I got Malik Neighbors from LSU 2. I got Brian Thomas from LSU 3. 2 LSU receivers in the top 3. Tells you all you need to know. And here, this comes down to this. Was it Joe Burrow? Was it Jamar Chase? Or was it Justin Jefferson for Joe Burrow? You kind of got that same dynamic here. Jalen Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas Jr. You got those 3 guys Did they benefit from one another, having played together and all this and that? I kind of like this. Um, the Odunze kid from Washington, great looking hands, great tape. I thought he had a great semifinal game too. I didn't think he was all that bad in the national championship game for about 3 quarters. There's a kid at UCF that's a pretty good looking player too, Javon Baker. You got to watch some tape on him, and then you watch some of his game tape. He's pretty good. Again, you could suspect who he played against. But coming out of the combines, I thought he was a really impressive guy, and I thought he raised his stock a lot. So his name is Javon Baker. That was who I thought was the 5th best wide receiver when he was there at UCF. I think the best player in the draft is Brock Bowers, the kid from Georgia. I think he's the best player in the draft. Dude, when you watch him run, he is great. And in today's NFL, I mean, the way he gets off the ball, the way he makes his lateral step, avoiding the ends. How many times I watched those guys not make the proper steps? Everyone was watching it too when the tight ends were doing it, and you kind of saw it away. You have to make a lateral step and then up, and you have to have acceleration to do that. A lot of the guys were taking half steps going up. You're never going to get around an NFL defensive end with that shitty step and lazy step. At least 90% of them. This kid Bowers, lateral step, up, acceleration, and gone. Great hands, turned. The kid has it all, man. I thought the kid Bell from FSU did the same thing. I like guys with technique because you see, you're going to need technique in the NFL. Jason Kelce said it today. Hey, man, in college, you're the biggest, you're the strongest, you're the baddest. You get to the NFL, dude, you're just a guy because everybody's strong as hell, fast as hell. That's why they're in the NFL. I have never been involved in a sport where when every room I walked into, I was the strongest guy in the building, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter how strong you were. Technique beats strength all the time in that league. Always, hey, if you got great technique, I played against this guy named Don Mosbar, who's like 6'6". And Don was a strong guy, but I was a 600-pound bencher. And I'm like, I'm going to pick this guy up. And Don Mosbar got into me, turned me, got up on the next level, slipped and scooped, and he's 6'6". And I'm going to myself, how in the hell is this guy? Because he had great technique, phenomenal lateral step, knew how to head fake, knew how to slip, knew how to scheme, and he knew how to zone block. When you get to the league, and if you don't know these techniques, it is a long day for you. It's a long day. That kid Sano from K-State's not a bad-looking tight end. Eagles need to do some work here at this tight end position. I didn't put a 5 because I didn't think there was a 5 guy. Maybe the kid from Illinois, but I got the kid Sanders at Texas. At 4, I thought the tight end position, there's a lot of big-bodied guys. I think that position's pretty deep, too, for the draft. Don Mosbar was a great center, part of the great USC linemen that they had at the place. Just phenomenal. Here's your old lineman. Best old lineman in the combines this year is the kid from Penn State, Fashamu. He's the best offensive lineman. Exceptional hands. He's got long as shit arms. I don't believe he'll be at 22. He's probably going to be around 12, somewhere in there. Could he be a top 10? Depend on need. He could go anywhere from 10 to 20. He's in that range. From 10 to 20. Somewhere in there. I got J.C. Latham, Bama. I got him second. I got Amarius Mims from Georgia third. I got Jordan Morgan from Arizona fourth. And I got Fuaga from Oregon State fifth. And I got Alt sixth. I didn't think he really, I didn't even see him, Alt. I didn't see Alt. I didn't see him. Interior line. Here's what you're talking about. Would the Eagles draft this guy? Jackson Powers Johnson, Oregon. Would they take him at 22? Chris, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Number 2, Zach Frazier, West Virginia. Christian Himes, UConn, who I think is the best interior lineman in the draft. Don't be shocked if you see that guy becoming. Hey, I'm telling you. Xander, remember what I told you about McCullough 2 years ago? And remember, guys, what I told you about Devin Witherspoon, that he was my favorite player in the draft. On March 4th, I'm telling you, Eagle fans, keep an eye on Christian Himes from UConn. He's a 6'2" kid, okay? He's a little undersized, but he was the best offensive lineman at the Senior Bowl. And he was road grading every defensive lineman that was anything that we'll talk about in the next hour that they had there. Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Senior Bowl, said, this guy's a road grader. Nobody could get around him. He's a powerful 500-pound bench guy. He reminds me of Jason Kelce. He was the best offensive lineman at the Senior Bowl. I think Himes 302 Philadelphia time. Big Sills makes a prediction. Probably wrong. Himes is going to be an Eagle. It's a Jeff Stoutland guy. UConn, Cincinnati. Shit like that. Watch A Flexen. Watch his tape and go like that. A Flexen. Google this. Senior Bowl. Himes. Watch what he does and how many people he puts on the back of their neck. Putting people from Georgia, Alabama, okay? He puts them on the back of their neck. I've been watching him. And I talked to Baldinger. Baldy goes like this. You should see his feet, too. His punch is insane. He's just 6'2". See, like Mudd, Kelce's original coach, would love him. But today's offensive line coach, they love these. They love these Sequoia-looking dudes. Okay? No, Mike, I'm not taking a center at 22 either. Okay? All you guys got to do, and like A-Track says, don't believe Sills? Well, go do it yourself. And then come back and tell me what you think of Christian Himes. And if you think that guy wasn't the best offensive lineman, not for me. Jim Nagy said it. And other scouts were saying he was the best lineman at that Senior Bowl. And the Senior Bowl in Mobile is where all the top talented kids go. At the end of the day, don't believe me. Go believe your own eyes. Okay? A shooter goes, Alt is the best. Why? Because he went to Notre Dame? Outside of Zach Martin, how many Notre Dame linemen do you remember? How many? We're going to talk to Farzi. That'll be at 3:30 Eastern and get his perspective on Jason and Kelce and his time in Philadelphia as an Eagle. Craig Carton's going to join us at 4:30. We will talk, and again, leadership issues going into 24 for the Eagles. Will there be? Okay, will there be? And Merrill Reese will join us at 5:30 Eastern time. Okay? Sills, I've looked at the mock drafts. Himes won't get drafted till end of the second round. Perfect. You got 2 twos. Okay? You got 2 twos. I'm good with that. We're going to do the defense next. Oh, by the way, yeah, and Cedric Van Pan, the kid from Georgia, is probably my 5th best interior O-lineman. Okay, so we'll do the defense next. Mark Farzetta is going to join us. More on Jason Kelce's retirement today. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.